Alright, so we got a little bit of flour and some dough.
Yeah, mostly flour because this. See how sticky this dough is?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to get too much flour.
Sticky, yeah.
You don't get too much flour, it gets whatever. This one get enough where you can work it. And then this stuff here, all you do is, to make the fry breads, all you do is just hand shape them. Let them stretch out. Just keep enough flour on them so they don't stick to your hands. Take a little bit on them, don't make them too big.
I know you want the whole batch, right?
Yep, should get about 12 of them.
Like that, right?
Yep, that'll probably be fine. And then don't have to roll them in the ball.
Well, I know,
You
right?
just start working them out.
Jeez.
Whoa.
Discovered in Newfoundland, Canada during the 1960s proved that the Vikings were the first Europeans to set foot in North America, 500 years before Christopher Columbus.
I remember a time when it was very contentious about the Norse getting to America when I was young. This was a major argument. Now we have found their settlements there from about 1000 AD, so it's very clear that they made it to northern North America.
The main advantage of the Norse was their excellence in shipbuilding. And indeed the ship has become the symbol.
Big white flour smack.
Yeah, really.
Those who have sailed replicas of Viking ships have commented on just how
It's like the Navajo.
seaworthy and fast.
First time I ever had these was Arizona State Fair. Navajos made them. They didn't make them with.
They
You
made
didn't get
them
hamburger. You either got beans. They weren't too much better than these. You either got
Oh, I
beans or you got honey.
We had them in Yuma, and
Either beans or honey. At the Indian fried bread.
we had the meat, the beans, or like you say, cinnamon and sugar. That's the one I like. When you guys were little, we used to make them, and you got one for dinner, one for dessert.
That's how I thought.
Yeah,
Pretty
we
much I
used
was
to-
thinking about you guys were doing.
Yeah.
When I didn't even remember until I seen you making the beans. I was like,
Uh-huh.
oh yeah, beans and cheese on them. That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
You had meat and beans, and then you had.
Thought they were
cinnamon and
called
sugar or-
sopapillas.
Well, sopapillas
That's a
are
different,
just
yeah.
just about the same. Sopapillas, I think, take powdered milk or there's something.
And self-rising flour.
Yeah, just something, just a little something different in the rest. I mean, this
Is self-rising after you've done it.
this is about as close to sopapilla, but the basically sopapilla recipe is just a little bit.
It's more of it puffs. These puff. I get, how do you explain that?
I don't know, but
It's a little
they're just
different, yeah.
they're just different
They're
enough.
different.
The
They
recipe's
just
just a
puff
little
different.
different.
They just puff. Sopapillas are
What's
like
that
a
little
little
thing there?
pocket, and these
Hey.
kind of.
What's that little thing
I'm
there?
working on it.
Golly.
Kiss my butt. I can't get the. I'm not very good at this.
Well, that's why I'm doing it.
I know. That's why you do it.
Fortresses and journeys to unknown continents. Evidence that the Vikings had access to extraterrestrial knowledge. Ancient astronaut theorists say yes.
As a caricature artist, I appreciate what makes each person unique. That's why I like Liberty Mutual. They get that no two people are alike. And customize
Yeah, just get you enough flour so it don't stick to your hand, and then, like I say, then just.
What the fuck I'm doing wrong?
Look out. Want me to redo it?
Yeah, if you want.
Well, I'll finish them up. Go.
Okay, that's fine. I'll get this. I'll do mine.
The country needs you to stay on your couch, and Burger King is here to help. We are waiving delivery fees on the rest, so you can be a true couch patriot. We are also donating Whopper sandwiches to nurses and supporting the American Nurses Foundation.
Yeah.
That's see you about worked that one so long. It's
I know.
being tough.
The forge of empires and complete your quest. Follow your ambitions and build your city from the Stone Age to the future. You need to build your empire? Play Forge of Empires for free.
I mean, overall, really, they're the simplest damn thing in the world. Simplest thing in the world today.
Drinks at your bars, gather around your tables. Or even at
We're getting a little big, but that's fine.
You've
You
been there
could get a
first.
dozen out of your thing, but
Or
we're
half
still,
a dozen.
we got plenty.
Donate $2 million.
That was the last of it, right? A little bit there?
We urge
Okay.
you to join us and donate today.
I'm Randy,
Plenty of.
and we're Bombas. We sell socks, but not this. Because this is designed to be donated.
The grease turned off yet?
Number one most requested clothing item in homeless shelters. So for every pair of super comfortable Bombas socks you buy, we donate this pair to someone in need. And thanks to you,
Now,
we
this
just
is-
donated
This is the only thing I've ever thought about. They'll be alright. This is the only thing I ever thought about doing a little
Some carnival
food
type
truck or whatever kind of thing. Exactly, was with these.
Attention Zantac users. The FDA
Food
requested
truck at the
manufacturers
fucking
of
flea
Zantac
market or
and
something, you
products
know what I
containing
mean?
ranitidine off the market. Donate exposure
Because I mean, hell, you don't have any money in anything, you know what I'm saying?
If you or a loved one was diagnosed with cancer after regular use of Zantac or ranitidine products, you might be entitled to financial compensation.
Biggest expense is fucking hamburgers.
Kidney or any of these cancers, time is critical. Call now for a free consultation.
Biggest
If you don't
expense is
win, you
hamburgers.
pay nothing. Call 800-324-5054.
Are sexually abused in the Mormon church?
Huh?
Church leaders are
Nothing,
committed
I'm
to
just
release
getting ready to get
and
paper
keep it
towels
hidden
out.
in the church. Come forward and get the help and healing you need. Protect tomorrow's children. Identify your abuser and help put a stop to the church covenants.
Now that I've done all this, I'm
Call Abused
hungry.
in Mormonism for a free, confidential consultation. We have skilled and compassionate people standing by to take your calls. If our lines are busy, please call again. Call now.
Call 800-747-1165.
Good.
Ulysses S. Grant had this ultimate faith in victory.
Is that it for that?
Yep,
I will fight it out.
maybe Monday or something, maybe we'll make some. Are these boiled eggs again down here?
Yep.
Okay. We'll make up some egg salad.
Alienate yourself.
Maybe Monday we'll make some
From afar. Stay home and stay safe.
cinnamon
Chance continues
rolls or
next.
something.
Yeah, yeast, I thought we
This
needed
Smart
yeast.
England.
We have,
793.
we just wanted yeast just to have more yeast,
Oh,
but we got a couple packages.
On this tidal island off the coast of Northumbria to plunder a great monastery of
Alright, we're ready to roll.
An account of the attack on Lindisfarne
oh, the,
says the assault coincided with extraordinary whirlwinds. Lightning, fiery dragons crisscrossing the skies. These strange events, coincidence, or could it be evidence that otherworldly forces may have been allied with the Vikings? Ancient astronaut theorists believe the answer can be found by examining the divine beings that form the basis of Norse religion and mythology. The Norse gods were worshipped over a very wide range of time and space throughout Northern Europe, from the continental German lands to the British Islands, the far northern islands such as Iceland and Greenland, and all throughout Scandinavia. Because little information has survived related to the origin of the Norse or Viking gods, modern scholars depend on a pair of Icelandic books written several hundred years after the Viking Age, called the Eddas.
And so we find that there's the god Odin, the god Frey, the god Thor. Those are probably the best known. But there are a bunch of other supporting gods who flesh out this mythology. The gods live in a world of their own, but it's closely connected to the world of men.
The Norse had some of the richest descriptions and references to the cosmos. In fact, they refer to the cosmos as Yggdrasil,
pardon me?
meaning
That one there
the
feels
tree
like a
of
fucking
life. That
brick.
was the symbol of
Fine.
the idea of the cosmos. And they were very specific in stating that their cosmos contained 9 different worlds, one of which is ours, the Earth.
We often hear about the 9 worlds of
puffed up.
which is another world where the Frostokers live. Cover of Time, which is where the elves live.
According to the Eddas, Asgard was home to the most powerful of the gods. He's described as a beautiful and peaceful realm, full of glittering halls and fertile fields cut by shimmering rivers. Odin is the chief of the gods. He lives in the highest of the heavens, Asgard. In one eye, he's given up an eye to drink of the water of truth. So he has this depth of wisdom, so he's a warrior god, able to bring fury and danger to
So were Indians using corn oil way back?
I don't know what else they could. I guess unless they probably used animal fat.
Better.
A
There
lard
you
or
go. That's what
whatever.
I was. I mean,
Yeah, that's all I.
you know,
could
you
figure.
can't do without it, but at
Yeah.
the same time,
You gotta have something to
doesn't
cook them
mean
in. And then again, who knows how far back? You know what I mean?
I mean,
How
Yeah,
many
but they weren't
ancestors
fry-
ago they really made Indian fry bread? You know what I mean? They probably didn't make it till oils or this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? Because
Well,
back
they
in the
usually-
day,
they probably
till the
use
white
lard.
people came around, they didn't have flour. I think it was mostly corn or this, that, and the other. I don't think they did a lot with flour. You know what I mean? They weren't growing and harvesting a lot of wheat.
gotcha. Yep.
So they were using mostly corn for probably more like
Everything.
tortillas or whatever kind of stuff, just heated on a whatever. Till the white man came around with this or that or the other, you know what I mean? And then the white man brought, I'd say, lard.
I'm sure they knew about you know, frying stuff. You know,
Well, and they probably did buffalo
pan type
fat
of frying
or,
and
yeah.
animal
Whatever,
fat and
yeah,
fish and
whatever
everything
foods
else.
the buffalo meat had enough fat, but didn't have a lot, but you know what I mean? It did have fat on it, but not a lot.
Yeah, they made it sound like there weren't boars in America before the Europeans brought them over or something. It's kind of one of the things.
Pigs,
Makes you
I
wonder
don't think so.
that there were just no pigs in America at all.
I
Interesting.
don't know if they're. You would think there'd almost have to be maybe javelina in
Some
the
kind of
desert or
pigs or
something.
something. What's that? A certain kind of pig?
Javelina's it's a they call it something. It's not really a pig, but we called it a hog or pig or whatever out in Arizona, the javelina, because they're like a pig, you know. Now, and I don't know that there's something that was domesticated and went wild, you know, compared to, you know, razorback hogs or
Right.
this, that, and the other are pretty much wild, you know, native hogs that have gone wild. Because like I say, in the Ozarks, they used to, everybody just turn their hogs loose. They let them just eat acorns and eat forage on this, that, and the other, whatever. Then they'd get together and go out and harvest hogs. Nobody really had, I got 10 hogs, you got whatever. You know what I mean? No, there's just a bunch. We turn our hogs loose and they're just wild hogs, and they'd get together and go hunt hogs.
If you need a hog, go shoot a hog.
Yeah.
There's
You know,
plenty
there
of
was
them.
probably some people that raised them in there, you know what I mean? But overall, back in them days, they just let them forage for acorns. They didn't feed them. They might have taken them in and finished them off or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they were talking about seen on TV, of course, or Google, whatever. Some kind of like some meat being made in Europe was like, I think this was in Germany or something, but it was they had. It might not have been Germany. Maybe it could have been France or somewhere. But they have forests, large old forest, acorn forests, and they make just what you said. They have the hogs go out there and wander in the forests, and you know they're just saying that the amount of food that they can forage on per acre isn't nearly as much with oak trees as it would be if they're like in pens and giving them slop and stuff like that.
I mean, that'd be the ultimate
But they
thing
say-
here would be fence all my land and then leave all that treed up there and let the hogs run there, supplement them with some food so they come to you. You know what I mean? They're not coming right at you, but they're coming to you. So when you get ready to kill them and, you know what I mean, and gather them up to go butcher them. But other than that, they eat grubs and bugs and worms and acorns and everything that's out there.
And you've been finding more, or at least the farmers seem to always know, like the ranchers, but they've been finding really a lot that and they talk about how the animals damage the land or so forth, that they really improve the land more than they damage it,
No,
because
I
so the
Not very brown.
No,
Pit-
they never do get very
the
brown.
pigs root in the material, and then that encourages other animals to come up and, you know, just moving that soil around, you know, and new growth that comes out of it, and other animals that go in
I
there.
never let them get too real
The
brown. They're
poop-
usually breadier this way.
The poop that they let out, you know, nutrients
Well,
in
and
the
that's it.
soil
With
as
it
well.
out there, that gives the bugs a place, the grubs and
Right.
the bugs and the whatever else a place to.
But they were showing about how since they've made people use less and less cattle out on the lands out west, that it's reduced the amount of other animals like birds and stuff that were out there. So where they had, like in the Oregon, they had that big deal where the refuge, they made it a refuge because all these birds were coming there. But the birds were coming there, as the farmers said, because their cattle was in there, and all the improvements they done
The
to
birds
the
would come there
water,
to eat whatever, get in the
and the
cow
cow
shit
and the
whatever.
cow shit, and,
Yeah.
and the, you know, the troughs are moving the soil around and the seeds, and then the cow shit fertilizes the seeds, and then the seeds grow, and then the birds come and they shit out the seeds, and then the seeds have fertilizer, and also the water, how out there's limited water sources, so going down the ravines and stuff, the ranchers guys would build up these little dams and stuff that would naturally collect water, so the animals, not just the cows, but all animals out there, wildlife and everything, have access to water that they
That's
wouldn't
what the
normally
Russian
have.
guy in Siberia is proving that with the whatever's happened through X amount of years, the less animals there are, the permafrost is melting and going away and whatever more from there being less animals and whatever.
Wow, less animals, huh?
Yeah. So they're bringing back in
Sucks.
a lot of the native, you know what I mean?
Reindeer and buffalo or whatever.
Yeah,
they
and
have.
even
Little stuff.
trying to bring in some hybrid type of woolly mammoths and whatever that used to run around all that area and whatever. I know one of those with beans and hamburger will fill you up.
Yeah, when you first started, I was gonna ask on the last couple, make one or two of them a little more well cooked, but it doesn't look like they really do anything anyway. I mean, that's cooked.
Yeah, they could get browner. They could get browner.
Cook them a little browner.
I know I don't. I just it's hard to tell when they're brown. You know what I mean? Almost till you take them out, unless they're
Did
real
they be
brown.
burnt?
Before
Yeah.
you know they're too brown.
Yeah.
I just kind of go by the feel of them. You know what I mean? As long as you can feel the outside's cooked, yet it's got that bready whatever to it.
And I like the beans. I like meat, but I'm a bean, you know. Pinto beans are my all-time.
What did we get? 2, 5. We did 10 instead of 12.
Plenty.
I'll let it sit on it and brown.
Beans are high in certain minerals that you don't get much of in other foods. So I can't name them off for you, but even different beans have a little bit different constituents or whatever, certain amounts. But like your trace minerals.
Of all kinds, but pinto beans
I don't
are
like lima beans.
He doesn't know. I like lima beans, but that's about the only bean you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
What about lentils?
Oh, I love lentils.
What about split peas?
Oh, I love split peas.
Split pea, oh,
Split peas and
That's
black-eyed
even-
peas and pinto beans, that's really my
Yeah.
3 favorites. Lentils are all right. I can eat lentils, but I'm not crazy about them, but I will eat them. But generally, lentils have got to be done with,
Like a soup type?
yeah, and with carrots and onions
carrots
and,
yeah.
Yeah.
you
The
know.
other one is that lentils are good for my sugar, so they, you know.
And he's a protector. He goes out and he basically beats up and kills giants. To protect the gods, but
All right, we'll come back with another one. I think we got these almost cooked.
Yep.
4 left.
We're done here, right?
All right, we're back for dinner.